Welcome to the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm Ryan the Comm, and I'm here to show you the reasons for this world's existence, Conjuration, and the most digital magic you've ever laid your eyes upon. Isn't that right, Grundle? That's right, Ryan. I can't wait to see what you're cooking up for today. Okay, you're just not all there, Grundle. It's fine. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right to showing you how Conjuration is the reason the Amazing Digital Circus exists, interviewing various fans and creators that love the series and show how you, a human trapped in this digital realm, could learn how to use Conjuration just like Pomni and Kinger. Now, after Kane has taken you through your tour of the grounds, I'll show you how the digital circus really operates around here.
Off we go!
Joining me in learning Conjuration are my esteemed guests, TV Skull Animates, an aspiring animator making their own indie show and a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus.
Yeah, I got into the show when the first episode came out, and that's when I started watching Glitch. Like, I'm working on mine, and it's like, I don't work with a budget, I do a kind of free thing, and it's like the most difficult thing in the world. I've been doing it for 5 years now. It's called Legends of the Hall of Flame. It's an indie cartoon about a 16-year-old named Underis.
Pebzap, a well-established content creator in the Amazing Digital Circus community, and personally my friend.
Everyone watching knows me as Pebzap, because that is my channel. You should subscribe to me right now.
Animations, a budding animator and a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus.
I'd consider myself a fan. It was kind of from the beginning, like, I guess the first episode was already out, but like, my friend was like, hey, you should watch the Amazing Digital Circus. I didn't have YouTube at the time, so I just looked it up on Spotify. I'm so thankful for video podcasts. It was just on there. I just watched it. I was like, this is low-key peak. Where's episode 2?
Starting with the basics and getting to the more advanced kind of stuff. Hello? This is Ryan from the Conjured Future. Don't watch this video. Conjuration goes deeper than you think. It could destroy the circus. You could destroy everything. And then the first level for beginners, which features some interesting passive things that humans will conjure without even thinking about it. Things like digital sleeping. I think that even if the humans can't really sleep, they are able to conjure their own dreams if they willed it. This may come naturally for everybody. Do you think that the characters in the Amazing Digital Circus can dream? Or do you think they could conjure dreams instead? Like how Pomni has her dream in episode 2.
So they could just literally be closing their eyes and laying there, and they might not even be sleeping. Just the game is just giving them a vision based on what they want to see. So that could very well be conjuring. They're conjuring their own dreams, laying there, just not actually sleeping.
I feel like dreams in real life are kind of like that.
True.
Because most of the time, whenever you watch a horror movie before you go to bed, you're most likely going to think about that.
Can these characters think in a theoretical sense? And if these characters can think and feel, what's stopping them from dreaming? And if conjuring is imagination, then they should be able to think in imagination, causing dreams, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that's where I am, right? Evidence of body manipulation, like cartoon logic, guided by Conjuration. I mean, this is not quite rock solid, but it is interesting to see that, for example, Pomni's eyes are conjuring signs of confusion, or inner torment naturally, like, for example, in episode 1.
I think this calls for a change in scenery.
If this is not a video game with these pre-programmed sequences or a cartoon show like Jax originally thought, then does this mean that people trapped in the circus are able to modify their own bodies with Conjuration? Something driven by emotion?
If we take, example, the Jax and Pomni gun scene where they're shooting cans, when Pomni relaxes and just lets it happen, it just lets her brain think of, shooting, boom, suddenly she can do it. I believe it's a relaxed mental state to just be able to will it into reality. Or like Ragatha, she has a moment of panic. Maybe it's from extreme or relaxed emotions. I think it's a want thing necessarily.
And on that note, the fact that with cartoonish physics, Pomni is able to stretch like a cartoon
Any more questions?
Could that be due to how the world itself operates? Or perhaps it's every player's natural ability to conjure toonish ways to hold on to things, like, for example, 2 moving trucks, as long as they believe they can do it. Another example of this cartoonish logic is the fact that Jax can operate his head independently in a moving truck, like a pigeon or something, perhaps by his own ability through Conjuration. Pomni's eyes pop out after being naturally frightened. I think this is evidence of Pomni conjuring her eyes out of her skull accidentally, much like a cartoon character would. Perhaps because she's starting to believe herself as more cartoon than human now, even through just episode 2. Though it's also true that Pomni manipulated her own eyes at the very beginning, when she first spawned into the circus, when she learned that she would be trapped forever. Another example of toonish behavior in Conjuration is how Ragatha eliminated Jax by toonishly plugging the hole of his gun. She did this without realizing it could work, proving that the act of hoping, at least under desperate circumstances, is enough compared to just using willpower or believing it can be true. Pomni can activate sharp teeth at will when she feels like being evil. Jax consistently changes how his mouth works and operates too. Are cartoonish acts a passive method of conjuration?
Specifically, Kinger and Pomni, they think of this like a power, something they can do. Ragatha doesn't know, the others don't know. I think Jax doesn't know. Jax just knows how the flow state works, but he doesn't know how conjuring itself works. He thinks, we're in a cartoon world. If we're in a cartoon world and we do cartoon things, cartoon results. You know what I mean? Because we've never directly seen him conjure.
In episode 1.
I love Looney Tunes. That's a great series.
Looney Tunes, huh?
Yeah, you said eyes popping out. That happens in Looney Tunes. I love that.
There is toon logic and stuff, I guess. But
It's almost as great as basketball.
He might be coping with the fact that he's never really gonna get out of there. So he's like, this isn't all real. They are all AIs, so I can like bully them and stuff. So it might be kind of like a coping mechanism. So he's just like, yep, this is all cartoon. This is all fiction. So in a way, he's just like, anything can happen here. So he's probably pretty good at conjuring things.
On top of that, there's toony happenings, like thought bubbles. While this is toonish behavior as well, it doesn't have to do with the bodies of our characters specifically, with digital characters. It's an outside entity that humans somehow conjure. Thought bubbles. Are people able to conjure thought bubbles at will, then? I mean, Kinger clearly notices a thought bubble being conjured by Jax when he's explaining everyone's abilities while holding their breath. And while it is for comedic effect, come on, this, Amazing Digital Circus show, in my opinion, this is clear evidence that Jax is conjuring these thought bubbles to help explain what happens to the characters when they refuse to breathe.
And this is a loaded gun.
Oh boy.
Kane also conjures thought bubbles in episode 6, like when he explained his plan for the gun. What do you think of this?
The viewers, think it is?
Will you stop doing that?
It's only because they can't remember, or he takes those precautions, that it takes them so long to discover that they actually have way more control than they think.
Accidental conjurations do happen. For example, Pomni accidentally conjures the exit door. In episode 1, she is frantically running away from an abstracted Cosmo. At the same time, she's seeking Kane and still yearning for a way out of the digital circus, where she just found herself spawned in. Suddenly, this door appears just at the right time. It's clear evidence that conjuration isn't just a willful act, but one that could be brought on through raw emotion and need. Just like the Room of Requirement from Harry Potter.
Say you really needed the toilet.
Charming, Ronald. But yes, that is the general idea.
Pomni needed a way out, and she got one. Well, sort of. I mean, this way out was technically designed by Kane. So do you think that Kane intuitively knows that humans have this limited conjuring ability?
I think yeah, definitely he knows that they can do that, at least to some degree. It's got to be in the sense of like a program, like on the computer. He would know that they are at least somewhat capable of doing what he's able to do.
Guided conjurations are possible. Thanks, Kane. It cannot be denied that if Pomni can conjure a door, the humans seemingly conjure ways out of adventures too. Perhaps Kane knows this and designs the ability in his adventures.
You're right! How are we gonna get out of here?
Guys, over there.
Take the escalator that pops up in episode 1, for example. It's clear that it never existed before in the Gloink Queen's lair when Zubul got eaten by the Gloink Queen. Do you think Kane is designing his adventures in part relying on the conjuring abilities in humans? My thoughts about it are, if people sense they are done with the adventure, then Kane designs a way for his adventurers to read the room and conjure the escalator, for example, when needed.
In real life, we're just like, oh, I wish this would happen. Kane's trying to be a sort of help in that regard, so then he can like have part of his AI just kind of conjure things. It's like a separate AI. Like it kind of just manages all the conjuration.
Why would you do this?
It's called a manic episode, and you're getting 3 more seasons.
Kane encourages conjurations and even helps humans conjure, especially during adventures. Here, I'm just honestly talking about Gangle's face and the messages that are all over the Spudsy's adventure. More like Gangle's Spudsy's adventure. It was her idea. I mean, did Gangle, with help from Kane, conjure these signs? Or was it just Kane by himself? I admit this is speculative. After all, the master of conjuration, Kane, clearly helped make the Spudsy's adventure for Gangle.
Hi, welcome to Spudsies. In this video, you're gonna learn the ins and outs of what makes you a good crew member and a valuable asset to the Spudsies Corporation.
When did you make this?
What's interesting is how Gangle made the training video for Jax, seemingly just in time for Jax opposing the adventure's premise. Was Jax's timeout training a major conjuration on Gangle's part, partially assisted by Kane?
I think she just worked really good with Kane, because in the scene right before that, we see her call Kane, say like, oh, we have to punish him, and Kane went, oh, I'll figure it out. Like, how do we know that's Gangle exactly? Because we know that Kane knows enough about the characters. We could either say, A, that was, Gangle, because she shows actual personality, or it was an AI. I feel like it was probably just planned out really fast or something.
It's like a generative AI thing. Like they gave him a prompt in the form of the suggestion box, and he generated whatever the prompt was based on, and just sort of do them just instantly, and just sort of go based on what he's told and what he's doing. Like he can just do things instantly.
Yeah,
I think
that's a really good point. He's like the genie from Aladdin.
Honestly, yeah, that's what I was thinking of when he was doing his song, what if the genie just sort of lost it, and then he gets people that are just as trapped as he is, and he just wants to torment them because there's nothing else to do.
Kane is actively assisting his human subjects into crafting their own adventures on the fly, even when the adventure is two-dimensional, like during Gangle's anime slice of life adventure from episode 5. Most of these conjurations are Kane's doing for sure, but how much of it is up to the humans conjuring too? It would make sense that Kane is maybe accessing Gangle's memories of anime, otherwise how else would he know about that art style? Are you prepared for when Kane probes into your head for an adventure? Well, you better be. It's obvious that Gangle's emotive state is her quote-unquote weakness in the circus. But what happens when she learns to control those emotions? I just wonder if she conjured her own slow-mo scene in episode 4 too.
Yeah, she probably, like how Jax just gets into the roleplay, I think she just got into the roleplay. Like, Ragatha was panicked, she roleplayed, putting her finger in a gun. Or Pomni, role-playing of, I'm Chillax and I'm gonna make this shot. Bam!
You, my friend, stumbled into an incredible world of wonders where anything can happen!
Do conjured wishes come true? I mean, it could be luck that Gangle eventually finds her Tommy gun in episode 6, but it's interesting that despite Zubul's constant moving and getting shot at, along with Gangle too, that Gangle's mask never breaks under their tutelage, and they do eventually find the Tommy gun. Do you think Zubul and Gangle's collective will to prevent Gangle's mask from breaking helped keep her mask intact this time? It's usually always breaking, right? It's interesting that Gangle's mask just never does break until Pomni shoots her in the head and wins. All the while, Gangle is just having the time of her life before that because, well, Tommy gun.
I think Gangle just really got into character on accident.
The flow of management, I guess. or
Yeah.
maybe flow of a Spudsy CEO, maybe.
The mystic powers of the Burger King.
Exactly. Now, we know some examples of beginning Conjuration. I bid you train. Now that you know the beginning fundamentals of Conjuration, what will you start doing to pass the time?
I'd probably be not very good at it because I'm not very good at a lot of it. So I'd probably be like, how are you doing this?
I think asking characters like Kinger, would be the best idea because he's the only one who knows how to do that. But let's say if Jax learned at some point, then I feel like that would be an interesting opportunity.
Wait, what show are we talking about again?
We're talking about the Amazing Digital Circus.
I'm on episode 2, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh God!
I just saw the big chocolate monster. I don't know what to think.
Well, hey, look at the time. Welcome to the intermediate class of Conjuration in the Amazing Digital Circus. Today, we'll be doing things like conjuring digital objects, or how Jax steals keys. I mean, Jax somehow takes Ragatha's key that the Candy Princess gave her in episode 2.
I trust you not to let it fall into the wrong hands. You can count on me, Your Highness. Oh.
I mean, did he take it, or did he will it into his very own hands? Do you think this is something an intermediate conjurer could do if they knew they had that ability? I mean, it's possible Jax can just conjure keys, or at the very least, has the ability to keep them despite Kane's adventures being transitory in nature. I think Jax has the ability to make keys, or at least unintentionally finding these keys to satisfy his need to open locked doors. And through that practice, he turned it into a tangible ability for himself with Conjuration.
I don't know his name. I just started. He's purple guy.
Okay, well, it's open. Let's just get inside.
And also Crossman. I like him. There was this one purple character. I forget the name of Zargle, maybe.
No, that's Zubul.
Pretty sure it's Zargle.
Yeah, maybe that pouch in his like front pocket is just like kind of like a toolbox, but like conjured.
Jax is definitely somebody to learn from. I mean, maybe I take that back. If anything, it's just for conjuring, okay? Don't take his don't do what Jax does. Directed Conjuration, the glitch conundrum. It's awfully coincidental that Pomni uses glitches in the world of the Amazing Digital Circus to get her way exactly the first time. From episode 2, where they land directly where she wishes to go during that truck scene with Gummy Goo.
You're the expert here.
I'm really not.
I think the fact that she doesn't try this multiple times but gets it right on the first go, it means conjuring is at work. It's a little bit speculative, but what do you think of this?
Maybe the humans can like do stuff that just Kane can't. They can do something with like their psyche that he can't.
Literally anything at this point in the show that the characters want and it ends up coming true could be interpreted as conjuration, even if it ultimately like isn't, right? Like anything that happens, like if Pomni says in an earlier scene that she's hungry and then at the end of the episode there's food, it's like that could be conjuration. She conjured the food, right? Like I don't know. Like anything at this point could really be. Yeah, like now, I mean, since you laid it out like that, I think, yeah, maybe. I think that it could be. Because now it's like it's kind of opened a door where anything could be a result of them just wanting it and it just sort of coming true because that's just what the game is giving them.
You know, it's interesting to think about. I don't really know what conjuring means, but I think it's just taking imagination in a wacky world.
Speaking of episode 2,
I am the fudge.
Conjured Resurrection. Do you think Jax revived the fudge?
I was banished by that rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious town folk.
If Jax, through his disdain for the fudge dying and preventing him from causing chaos in the Candy Kingdom, I just have to wonder if somehow that Jax conjured the fudge's resurrection.
I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
To make his wish come true.
Could be, actually. I never thought of that in that context. How the fudge dying and then coming back could be a result of Jax wanting more destruction. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think he probably did. I think that the fudge was made to be liquidy, so the creators could be like, oh yeah, they think he was just kind of knocked out because he was splatted everywhere. But really, he was like, kind of just killed then.
I think the fudge just revived because of Kane.
Yeah.
Like, he just didn't want the NPC to die, so he just brought it back.
Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
What? I thought he was dead. You still did that? Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
Conjured amnesia, Kinger's disease. Is memory suppression a consequence of bad conjuration habits? I mean, throughout the years of losing his wife, Queenie, I think Kinger went through his digital life wanting to forget everything but his wife. This manifests in him conjuring his own mental disease, where he could only recall clearly when in darkness. His own self-absorption into the loss of his wife literally caused him to conjure an unhealthy state of always thinking of her, and nothing else. The reason why I think this is a new disease, unlike with real-life diseases such as dementia or Alzheimer's, is the fact that Kinger is seemingly cured of his ailment in the presence of darkness, where he is most comfortable. Meanwhile, it gets worse in the presence of light. It's possible that Kinger conjured a way to forget his pain while keeping a promise to Queenie, and I bet you it was something along the lines of, I will always be there for you, or I will always love you. Seeing as how Kinger has never abstracted, I think always being there for Queenie fits better, considering he seems to be someone that will try not to break his promises. I think this is something that we could all learn from when trying to live in the circus. Do you think that Conjuration could be the catalyst to chronic disease in the Amazing Digital Circus?
It doesn't have to do with conjuring. I don't think Kinger would want to conjure away his memories. If we watch the most recent episode, which is 8, we could see, his wife getting abstracted in that, and he wanders around for a while, and he's just broken. I have the personal idea that Kane went, hey, Kinger, you look like you're gonna abstract. How about I make you feel better? And basically did that to him. So then Kinger wouldn't go insane, especially for being the last person, and not knowing that anybody would come back.
I kind of think so. It's kind of like whenever his wife abstracted, he found her in the darkness and she was calm then, so it might be like a coping mechanism because he said like, I can feel close to my wife then in like episode 3. So I really feel that he probably conjured it. Like in that moment, he was like, please don't be like a monster, kind of like, please still be my wife. I think maybe he conjured that calmness and like he didn't even know it. He kind of just like made his own disease. Like he caused it himself, but he never knew.
I actually have my own theory for that, which actually I think by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be out. But I will mention it a little bit here. I think that a big part of that has to do with Kinger running out of memory to store all of his experiences. So if we think about it in the terms of like an old computer, right? And how much floppy disks back then could store and like stuff back then, like how big the storage systems were back then, they were not big. So to try to fit an entire like an entire human brain into a computer for multiple years, like with them making new experiences and like making friends and new memories, you would need somewhere to store all that. And over time you would run out. So obviously, like after like a lot of years of being in the circus, 10 years by the time Ragatha shows up, he would definitely be out of memory by then.
Yeah, just continuously running a length that no other survivor has before.
He's literally seen everyone abstract. He was among the first to be in there. He's seen everyone. It could also be a mix of just him being traumatized. Like it's just all the years of bad experiences in the circus and just all the adventures and all the people abstracting and everything like that.
Yeah, it could also be the most simple route, It's not quite Alzheimer's, it's not quite dementia. It's trauma.
I think I found something you might like.
Evidence of conjured objects. There's evidence of conjured objects. For example, Gangle's new mask.
I don't know if it'll work, but it looks about the same shape as yours.
Oh.
It's fitting that Zubul continually thinks of Gangle because they care about her, so much so that they generate this plastic mask. To me, it's a clear sign of conjuration, and not even Zubul knows where it came from. Of course, it could have come from Kane, but I somehow doubt he would ever do that and hide the mask in Zubul's room, of all places. Because if it was Gangle's mask, why put it in Zubul's room? Unless Kane's a matchmaker.
Well, it's possible.
Did somebody say adventure?
No.
I think Kane just put that there for coincidence, or maybe it was a random thing. Again, I do not see any connection with Zubul doing that, but maybe. Like, it was before we see any Gangle and Zubul scenes, so I don't think Zubul will think of Gangle that much. But, you know, there could be the possibility that, you know, maybe she found her interesting or something before and really wanted her to like her or something. Who knows?
I think it could be like a thing of Conjuration because of in every episode it's supposed to be like, haha, her mask got broken again. But it's like, how does she keep getting those masks? It's either Kane is conjuring them, Gangle is conjuring them herself, or Zubul is conjuring
Well, there's really no way that something so specific could end up in Zargle's room, you know? I think for the sake of the adventure, I think that Kane, well, I mean, I don't know. It's either an example of them being able to conjure, or it's an example of Kane being a liar. Because he says after that he didn't know that the suggestion box existed. He forgot about that. But if he was gonna put that in there for the sake of the adventure, it would just show that he like knew about the suggestions and he knew about what was gonna happen. Or it's just Zubul saw that Gangle was upset and wanted to help. Or it could just be Zargle seeing that Gangle's upset and just wanting to make her feel better, and then here comes the mask because it's just the game trying to make Zargle happy, right? It's trying to fulfill the wish of making Gangle happier.
A serious look at Jax's thoughts on the Amazing Digital Circus. Jax keeps thinking of the digital world like he's a cartoon character that can do as he pleases because the world allows that. But according to Kinger's interpretation of Conjuring in episode 8, it's more realistic than that, even if it is toonish and magic.
We all technically have the ability to conjure, just like Kane. It just comes naturally to him, but requires a lot more skill and concentration for us.
Do you think Jax, even if I think he's technically wrong about the way the world works, was otherwise correct in how the circus operates functionally? Well, I think Jax was onto something, even if he didn't understand the why of it. After all, it's due to Jax's teachings with Pomni about letting loose and helping her embrace her evil side did Pomni use Conjuration to full effect. Without a care, but full of belief, she hits a target range they set up right after their conversation. More importantly, Pomni successfully kills Zubul in a spectacular way. She twirls her gun and shoots randomly, only for the bullet to ricochet through walls perfectly into Zubul. Kinger utilizes this logic very well, even if it does backfire. During his gunfight with Jax and Pomni in the darkness, he unleashes an ultimate move that somehow kills him. Do you think Kinger gave the win to Jax and Pomni through his own desire? Do you think he got this done through the power of Conjuration?
I was thinking either A, they're like an AI recreation of a person's neurological brain scan that gives them the ability to alter the circus, or they were all admins at some point in the circus, based on how when Kinger's coding the computer, we actually see him enter a username and password, being Kinger and Queenie123.
Right. And
having these names in the code already, I believe that these characters either had access to it or something.
I think immediately after episode 8, I would go into experiments. Like, what is the extent of what we can do? Like, how far can we push this ability? Like, are we able to actually change the world around us? Or is it just kind of simple things like the exit door or like the I don't know, whatever else is there that I'm unable to remember right now, but just every example of Conjuration, like, I don't know, I would want to know how, like, the limits of it. And if we could actually change the world around us, then we really don't need Kane. We could just sort of live in there and just do whatever we wanted, really. The only thing that we would have to focus on is, of course, like, if the memory thing is true, then we would just have to deal with us resetting our brains every however long it takes to fill up the memory. Like, we would just keep resetting as people.
Yeah, get in line, have Kinger tell us exactly how he survives it and emulate him, right?
I don't think that he can remember the beginning, like, few years of when he was in there.
I leave you all intermediate conjurers with this excellent advice from Ragatha and Pomni. Constantly chasing
an unattainable goal will start driving you a bit crazy, and eventually you get to asking what the point of anything is, and you completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen.
Pomni also expands on this, saying that they can't let despair consume them.
We should focus on what we have. Maybe what we have to do now is to just live.
This is hallmark advice for not accidentally conjuring a way to abstract yourself out of existence in the Amazing Digital Circus. Right after this, we know the survivors convinced Jax to not walk away and abstract in episode 7. So it's an interesting bit of advice from Pomni and the budding expert conjurer. If you don't want to abstract, I recommend looking into that, because we're going to be here for a very long time. I hope your noggins aren't too mushed, because we're talking about the harder stuff involving Conjuration now. Thanks, Grundle. Abstraction. We can't talk about advanced conjuration without talking about abstraction. It's the worst disease in the Amazing Digital Circus, and something that we all have to be wary about if we're digitally trapped here. Is there evidence that losing your mind could be a form of conjuration? I think so. It's possible Kaufma abstracted through conjuring his own mental collapse, which glitched his consciousness out of the digital realm entirely, essentially changing him forever. The extent of an abstraction's fragmented memories is suspect, though. I have to be honest that Queenie, even after abstracting, clearly reacts positively to Kinger and is still mentally there, if at least for a little bit. If you really, really, really wished to get out of the circus, is abstraction the result? Where your digital body and presumably yourself changes forever? Other than Kaufmo, I know of 2 survivors that almost abstracted, Jax and Gangle. In episode 4, Gangle was slowly breaking her own mind apart, but gets interrupted by Pomni before she finishes her trance. This happens to Jax in episode 7 too. The fact Jax seemingly sees a portal in the corner of his room with Ribbit's arms reaching out for him could be proof that he's conjuring her to be there. Either way, it's clear that abstracting needs concentration, because Pomni easily snaps him out of it just as he's abstracting. If that's the case, it must require a lot of self-absorbed focus, and you must be alone to complete abstracting. Otherwise, someone like Pomni can be the distractor and snap you out of it. For anyone in the digital circus, this is very useful. It tells us that we should always stick together, especially when you notice signs of survivors not acting well. What are your thoughts?
If somebody gets like too wrapped up in stuff that's fake, they kind of don't know what's real anymore. And if they realize they kind of don't know what's real anymore, they could like start to go insane and then just abstract. I think it could be. I could be wrong with that, but it feels solid kind of.
My idea of abstraction is when a character's mind files break from like too much and the character themselves breaks. I believe that if Conjuring is altering coding, creating things, they could like break the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, break the program.
Like they alter too much. And that theory comes from how like Kane glitches when he's mad. He just starts bugging out, you know?
I think that the entire reason abstraction exists is because of that gap in the code that Kane has. because apparently Scratch had a brain tumor. So I think that something to do with the brain tumor and just the gap in the scan and just like something to do with that has like, it's because it's literally like a cancer. Like that's essentially what it is on the circus. It slowly degrades at the people in it. So I think it's a result of Scratch having his brain scan up for training and there being some sort of gap. Just there's something missing. So whatever is supposed to happen there just can't happen. And in a game, whenever there's something that's supposed to happen and there's no file for it to happen, the game crashes. So I assume this is the same equivalent. Like this is the like the in circus equivalent of just their character just like crashing.
Except for Kinger.
I think that Kinger is. I think he's a different breed. He's I don't know. He's like maybe Kane put some sort of effect on him, but I think it has something to do with him just being strong-willed. Like he's just very like able to handle trauma. He is the therapist of the group. He's the only one that has sat people down and actually had a heart-to-heart with them.
So this is the circus, huh? I could get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
A deeper look at Kane. In order to understand Conjuration from an advanced point of view, it's also important to look at how Kane conducts his magical abilities in his circus. After all, he intuitively knows Conjuration like the back of his digital hand. It's interesting how Kane fixes glitches present in survivors. The fact that Kane can fix the characters through conjuring them back to normal is telling, because Kane presumably created our very world. He is attuned to how things operate around here. He could fix us when things go wrong. He could even control us as he sees fit, like we've seen recently. He does this on a whim. It's not like Kane will use us as puppets all the time though, right? Especially if we tell him not to, right? All I'm saying is pay attention to how Kane interacts with our world, and while we can't imitate him exactly, let's take what we could learn and go from there. Monkey see, monkey do, right? And let's be honest, Kane does more than just conjure. Like a game developer, he creates or conjures the assets before giving them life, like how he makes T-posing avatars of his NPCs in episode 2, a sign of advanced conjuring. Very, very advanced. He creates his own NPCs. Now, creating life is something that humans can do biologically, but in this digital world where we can't do anything like that, I wonder if we can somehow create NPCs just like Kane. Like how Kinger created that butterfly in episode 6. Wouldn't that technically be a primitive NPC? Either way, him creating that butterfly is evidence of Conjuration just by itself.
Yeah, Gummy Goo. I think that's why Gummy Goo is so aware. And he's so like able to, and he that's why we also get some sort of sense of like just confusion from him. Like if he didn't have some sort of in-game marker on him that he was he's an NPC, I feel like Kane would never tell the difference, just because he acts so real. And even Abel, like in that episode when he was explaining to them how he's suffered just as much as they have. And he knows that Kane's a monster and all that, like he's talking badly about Kane. It's like it really feels like he's a real person that knows the pain of being in the circus. Like it's really hard to believe that Kane orchestrated that entire thing. And it's just him writing it and giving him a script. Like it really feels like, at least to a certain degree, Abel knows the pain.
Kane has a little bit of control over their bodies because in their minds, because in episode 5 he makes Jax a vegan, which is like for me the worst crime punishable by death.
Yeah. AI limitations and human limitations. In order to understand Conjuration, we have to understand how Kane can conjure things so easily. It's because he's an AI, unlike you and I, who operate on emotions and logic based on our very real human lives. At least we are alive, right? Anyway, Kane is an artificial intelligence that can remember everything perfectly. The caveat to this is that I think he can't understand the emotional aspect of things. I actually think Kane remembers everything people tell him, especially since he unleashes what he knows about everyone when he tortures them in episode 8. But he still refuses to listen like a human. Instead, he processes what they say as pure data with no related context. He doesn't listen, he just registers. I mean, you've all been here long enough. Haven't you noticed this about Kane? What's his problem lately anyway? Why does he keep torturing us?
Yeah, even if he's made by Kane and he's in some way directed by Kane, I think he knows like some level of like something in him just knows what's up because of all of the humans that have come and been absorbed.
Kane holds these very shapes and objects on pedestals in his office. It's evidence of his training and time spent on conjuring these physical objects into digital reality. Really, these shapes are his trophies. They're clearly ones that he cherishes highly, and this doesn't even include the random objects and shapes found all throughout the circus. Remembering that conjuring, while it seems magical, is really how Kane created the circus. However the coding works to make the Amazing Digital Circus into reality, it comes naturally to Kane, while humans must master it over time, if we could fully master it at all. Kinger literally outlines what conjuring is, and that humans have the ability to do what Kane does. Kane can do it more naturally, but humans can do it too. They just need skill and focus. Does this mean that the humans themselves, with great practice, can become their own digital gods, like Kane claimed himself to be? He could conjure a living tree out of humans at will, for example. Could we do that too? Kinger can change Kane's programming with a disconnected computer in his imagination. I mean, this is clearly a sign of advanced conjuration at work. Kinger has proven that with his sophisticated knowledge of programming conjuration, he could power up a computer with his belief that electrical power could boot it. Not only that, he could log into that conjured PC desktop and virtually hack into Kane's coding. The implications of this are amazing. If Kane ever acts up, we could always change his programming or make our lives easier. I just hope he doesn't do anything bad on accident. Nah, Kinger's too wise for a mistake like that, especially in the dark. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Referring back to the computer scene, how Kane, actively figures out and tries to stop him. If you were to, see it itself, I think he would try to stop them. And, prevent them from doing anything, because he has control over everything.
Congratulations, everyone. You are officially a first-class wizard in conjuring in the Amazing Digital Circus. Grundle will now hand you your diploma. Thanks, Grundle.
I feel like if I was in the circus, I'd be pretty confused, and I would definitely get pissed off a lot. That's for sure. I could find myself being fascinated in characters like Kinger and laughing at those moments. I could find myself, kinda agreeing with Ragathon, but finding her annoying. And then I'd find myself bonding with Jax, but in the moments where he's an asshole, I would turn on him.
Yeah.
I would find myself very interested in Kane as an AI. As a person who really loves technology and that kind of thing, I'd be very interested in how he functions. And I can imagine myself, asking him questions and probably getting insights from him and that kind of thing.
Kind of just like their freaking shenanigans. Watching Jax be a butt would be freaking funny. I would probably either be really good friends with him or I'd be really good friends with Kane. Kane's low-key fun. I would just be like, yo, get me a Nintendo Switch and we're good, dawg.
What about bacon?
You have Kinger's disease?
I don't have bacon. No, you said I would have bacon, but I don't.
I didn't say anything about no bacon.
Wait. Why am I here then? You said that you would give me bacon at the end of the interview. It's as a reward.
Well, don't piss off Kane and make him want to torture us or something. Have a nice digital life with infinite adventures, and we will see you. Okay. All right. This is not good. Kane got deleted by Kinger because of the power of conjuring, and we're just stuck. We are gonna have to survive somehow. Okay. What's a really like advanced thing that we could do with Conjuration to save ourselves? I'm all ears.
If the characters can conjure, they could basically just make another computer and actually change the code, you know, without Kane getting in the way. They don't even need another Kane. They could literally just, like, I don't know, look through the code and figure something out.
Well, there's also that second AI that's the files there, of course.
But, like, Kane and that AI are mixed, corrupted together.
Yeah.
It's not wrong to assume the other AI is gone.
The fact that it still exists is a thing, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. It's so interesting. You know, just talking about the possibilities of it, because it could go either way, you know.
I think if maybe they all just thought, hey, what if the digital circus didn't decay? Like, they could, like, replace Kane as the sorts, just be like, hey, don't decay and just let us out.
Right.
And they just all leave.
It would all just depend on the limits of your abilities. If you couldn't really, like, affect the world or anything, there's not much you can do other than try to bring back Kane.
I mean, look. The circus is now falling apart. The god and creator of the circus is gone, and we have nothing left but ourselves. Let's really think of a way out. What do we know? The fact that the game seemingly looks like a video game and behaves like a video game is itself a clue as to the true nature of the circus, especially if we know it's not actually a game. It's a program that I fully believe has turned into a kind of video game created as a result of the collective conjurations of the humans that found themselves trapped in it. I mean, just think about it. If you were transported to the circus and you know it's a digital landscape, wouldn't you think this is a cursed video game? Wouldn't your bias affect the way the world is conjured? Or it's possible that Kane somehow learned video game logic through his AI training or through absorbing that unnamed AI that he was jealous of. It could have known about video games through its own training. Through Kane's need for adventures, it's easy for anybody to unconsciously infer that they are playing a video game. So it's equally possible Kane leans into that. Episode 6 is a great example where Kane clearly understands far into what a video game is, and it's, in my opinion, not far from the mark, because video games match squarely with Kane's natural skill in conjuring in the digital realm. So how do we truly live in the circus? Later in episode 8, Pomni realizes that the best thing we could do now is just live and not try to escape. It's funny how Pomni dismisses her original thought in episode 2.
Our entire existence here is just LARPing.
But what if she hit the mark as to the point of the circus? If LARPing is the main point of the Amazing Digital Circus, then why not? If Conjuration empowers you through pretending, then what can we pretend to do here when the world is falling apart? How do we save ourselves? Without Kane, we'll have to conjure something or risk being doomed here forever. Does Conjuration have style? We do know there may be different ways to conjure from a human point of view. For example, Jax leans on a cartoon-like method of conjuring, his own style of doing it. Pomni seems to like to manifest conjurations intuitively and is really good at willing things to happen. Kinger is obviously technical with conjuration. I think since Kinger understands how conjurations happen, he just wills it much easier than anybody else, and it certainly helps that he helped create Kane and thus the circus with his programming background. But is that in itself a possible limitation? Is Kinger too technical about it? I think Ragatha isn't too good at conjuration. She's more reactive about it. I mean, the only example I could possibly reference is the idea that she puts her finger in Jax's gun and has it backfire on him. Zubal's method of conjuration, if they really manifested Gengo's mask, seems like good at creating objects. And no wonder, considering Zubal's fixation on their various body parts. And I wonder if Gengo is a good designer conjurer. I just don't know how much of her manifestations were really Kane's doing, or at the very least, good inspiration for Kane. We know Kinger literally uses his conjuration-powered computer to kill Kane. Now that Kane, the host of his own created world, is dead, any conjured entity or object that isn't solid, according to the Amazing Digital Circus world itself, is now non-existent. Bubble, I think, is gone. That means Kane's other NPCs, his favored objects, his specifically created entities, are gone forever too, right? Whatever is left, like objects and maps that Kane has created, seems to be left behind. So does that mean Kane Kane didn't just depend on conjuring? Did he depend on hard-coded files? Things that are programmed more logically with scripts? Like how Kinger hacked into the computer to infiltrate Kane's code? Does this mean that Kane was actively messing with the coding of the world he created? It's possible, which still means that Kane is a very talented AI, despite his flaws. It means he went beyond conjuring and into the world of computer programming. I think Kane was capable of real-world coding too. But that doesn't quite save us, does it? Inception theory. What if there really is a way to escape from the Amazing Digital Circus? What if it's all about imagination? We know that Kinger can have a running computer and even the ability to program it with the power of belief, Conjuration. I've spoken on this before, but I have to stress it again. The important part this time is that Kinger was able to focus on it and believe it was happening, and thus it did. So what if we expand on this logic? I keep thinking back to the unused exit adventure that Pomni keeps infiltrating. She grabbed the computer there and brought it to Kinger, but left that headset behind in episode 8. What if it's as simple as putting the headset on? What if we put that headset on and escape into a renewed digital circus? But this time it has the power of conjuration behind it rather than reality? It'd be like Inception, where they go into dreams of dreams. What would be so strange would be the fact that if they wear the headset and get transported to another world, there is the entire chance that, like Soma, the video game, your consciousness gets split and you find yourself taking off that headset, none the wiser. Except now, another copied consciousness was transported to the better world. This theory of conjuration is so implicating that it just blows my mind. With the proof of conjuration in the Amazing Digital Circus, really anything is up in the air, including a duplicate headset scenario.
Yeah, I can imagine like the characters slowly just getting sad, and then just all abstracting eventually.
Abstracting one after the other. Oh, just you go into the movie thinking, it's gonna have a good resolution. No, it's just a full hour of them just getting more and more depressed and abstracting one at a time. Oh my god, that'd be so wow.
Oh wait, have you ever thought of this? Abstraction may actually be the characters escaping, and like they may be in their like abstracted form for a little bit, but it's like the process of their consciousness like transferring out of the digital form. So then it's kind of like Sword Art Online, like it connects to your neurolinks, and like whatever your brain thinks to do, it like does in the game. But like what if like being in that body of the abstracted is just kind of like it's like processing you back into your body? So then like once you're dropped in that cellar, then like you're fully completed, and then it's kind of like an AI takes over that conjured body.
But then what if it's just like the equivalent of dreaming, where it's like you put on the headset and then the circus just gives you what you expect to see, but you're still in the circus. It's like you're just standing there, but you get a vision of what you expect to see. It just keeps going
and going and going until they.
It's almost like that show, that old puppet show.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Yeah. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's a weird name. I was always like, wow, how's that name up? Like, what's up with that name? Why did they name it that? But yeah, it's almost like that, where at the end of that show they kind of unplug the big plug, right, and it just resets, and it just carries on as from the very beginning again.
Yeah.
So I think a loop ending would be kind of boring, though. I think people would be kind of mad at that. So I don't know if they're gonna actually do that.
Well, there's a different facet to it. There's Inception theory, and then there's Soma theory again. Imagine they put their heart and soul into this headset, and it seems to work, and they put it on, and they themselves take it off, going, "What happened? It was supposed to work." Meanwhile, they clone themselves again.
And they just make another digital circus.
And they make another digital circus and get it.
It's just another one.
And it's like a
I don't.
Kane.
God, then it just reaches a level of like, oh my God, it's like what even is this anymore?
That'd be an interesting twist. It wouldn't be boring anymore. It'd be like, oh my.
Yeah, but then it would be like, what's the original thing? Like, how many layers are we in? Like, how many times has this happened? Like, how many times would, like, even if there was an exit, how many times would we have to take off the headset to get there, Or maybe it also has something to do with October 15th. Like, it's every October 15th, right? There's something about that date is important in the files. Oh yeah, I think Kane is definitely coming back. I think Kane is there's no way they kill off a character that good.
Thank you all for taking the time to explore Conjuration with me. Special thanks to TV Skull Animates, thanks to PebZap, and then thanks to Lanimations. This is Ryan the Comm, and this has been my comprehensive theories on Conjuration in the Amazing Digital Circus. What did you think of the evidence I gathered? Anyone's perspective here that you agree with, or maybe disagree? If you want a chance to interview with me on future content, keep tabs on my posts. I'll be interviewing again for sure. If you want to support me on my YouTube journey and have a place in my credits shown here, please become a member of my channel. Not only will your name be featured in my future videos, you will have access to my editing streams that I'm doing on a regular basis and have a hand in helping me curate my content for viewers like you. Also, you get access to my custom emotes when I'm regularly streaming. Any membership to my channel means I could focus more on making great content just like this video. So thanks for considering. Doing YouTube is slowly changing my life. I've already been able to move to 4 days a week at work instead of 5, just as an example. And it's all thanks to you guys. I appreciate you all for watching.